Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we're going to be talking about all things brand marketing and strategy with an expert. That's just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, the pandemic is causing a lot of people to reinvent themselves. Some of them are coming up with side companies or going to their vision board and saying, well, maybe now is a good time to get that idea, product, service off the ground. To talk about that right now, Chris Hill, he's the president of Pinnacle Graphics, and he is a brand management strategist expert. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for having me here today.
All right, I think we should probably define marketing, because a lot of people hear in marketing and they don't know what that means. Is it direct mail? What is marketing?
Actually, marketing is one of the 7 pillars of brand management. Brand management is an overarching concept, philosophy, how to bring people to market and how to support them as we pivot in years like we're having right now are really important. So what I wanted to do, brand management is really how does a company connect with your customers, with your products and services to build the brand loyalty. That's really what the definition of brand management is. It's the overarching, and I've got a few comments here about the 7 pillars, because each one of those pillars is actually an industry. As we talk about advertising, marketing, e-commerce, those are really industries into themselves. Brand management is how do we implement all of the different tools and technology for one customer to launch and accelerate them. Okay, that's the speed to market.
Perfect. Before we get into the pillars, I want to go ahead and show your website, because you guys are really, you can take somebody from a table napkin to market, can't you?
Absolutely, we've done that.
When did the company start?
We started in '93. I'd worked for a couple of printing and marketing companies, and they were pretty much more product driven. And my clients at the time, especially the large national clients, said, we need a project manager. We need project management concept, we need integration, we need consolidation, we need one partner that is going to help us implement these 10 or 20 or 30 different components to bring a project together in a matter of weeks and not a matter of months is what it used to take.
Well, let's go through the 7 pillars.
Okay. You mentioned marketing first. Marketing in itself is really a total vertical market. The marketing is really just on a creative side. How do they create their voice and their message for the market? The marketing is, what is that going to be? And that's ad agencies and PR firms, and that's an industry to itself. Advertising is really the function and the technical expertise on how do we place it. Is it a digital ad, a tangible ad? Is it a billboard? Is it the side of a truck? How do we buy the space and actually place the marketing message in front of potential customers or to reinforce existing customers? That's a whole industry to itself. The next one is really the tangible. It could be tangible, could be uniforms, vehicles, print, collateral, consumables, packaging, however you package your item, could be in a retail space. How does the consumer experience and touch and feel that product? E-commerce is a whole nother thing. E-commerce is simply the function of inbounding, processing, getting something from point A to point B. I'm just going to say Amazon. They're the masters. That's what they do. And that is an industry that they've created, and they even outsource. Some people outsource that service because it's a very high-tech, data-heavy function. And that's a vertical market all to itself. Direct mail, we've done that for many years, and that's simply taking the different types of messages and putting into something tangible and getting it into their home or office. But direct mail Really, you're just trying to create a message, an emotion, because they never remember things. They always remember the emotion. Good experience. I was at the studio. Great experience. That's what they remember. But really, especially COVID has accelerated the pace. Direct mail has one intent in my world. How do we get that customer who just had that tingle, had that experience, to your digital platform? You've got your websites, your virtual reality, you're going to have your other online media. How do you get them to jump from tangible to your digital, to get them into your CRM system, to create a conversation, to create some analytics, and to start your relationship with them? QR codes are a good example. How do you very simply go from tangible to digital to get them in your house so you can build a relationship? And that's just one more piece of the pie. Social media, I'll leave to you guys. That is the dissemination of. And that's really the 7 pillars. And each one of those people talk about every day, but each one is really a vertical industry, a large industry to itself.
So, and I know you have some slides that we're going to put up in a minute, but I want to let's get concrete with an example like Starbucks, one of the most iconic brands on the planet.
Okay.
But if you and I went in the Wayback Machine 40 years ago, and we told people that instead of a quarter at the gas station for coffee, you're going to be standing in line and paying $5 for something called a latte.
They're going to holler at you, write your name down, and then give you the latte.
All right, so
absolutely.
What did Starbucks do right to create really a whole new coffee experience?
Where they really interjected is the 25-cent cup of coffee is at the house, and not quite sure what kind of coffee you're going to get at the office. And what they've done is they kind of tied the whole experience together, is that you can do something unique. You can do something that, ooh, that looks cool, has a little cool factor to it. You can get it exactly the way you want it, get it your way. Foam, no foam, however you want it. And you go in and I make light of it, but they kind of call out your name. It's like, we know who you are. Any of your friends in the house, everybody, oh,
right,
here we go. Joe's here. Here we go. We know he's in the house. So you get it your way. You do in the transition into the office. You can take it into the office, and they have an extended. They probably have when you take it to the office, they probably have a 30-minute or an hour branding of their cup, of that experience, and your friends are going to ask you.
And so it's almost an experience company that happens to sell coffee.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's 90% experience.
Wonderful. Okay, well, you've got some slides. Let's go ahead and put them up, and I want you to kind of walk us through what we're looking at.
Okay. These four core strengths that we have are 4 of the 7 pillars. But just the 4 that I'll touch on today is the concept, the print management, the distribution. Sometimes we'll run hundreds of thousands of a unit, which would be totally a generic item. And sometimes at direct mail it happens that way. And what we're doing now is more one-to-one marketing. You may have heard print on demand. The one-to-one, it's data driven. You and I may get different looking postcards based upon our profile, because in digital printing, those analytics can drive the image, the experience. You check the box on a website, so we're going to send you exactly what you asked for. We'll start there, and then we'll work down through the other offerings. So that's something. The e-commerce and fulfillment we've been doing since the very beginning. Originally, we had to write our own e-commerce software because it wasn't available. What we do now is we've got some customers have a few items and a few branches, and some customers have hundreds of branches, and one's got over 400 active items with us.
No kidding.
We might print on demand because your salesman wants their name and number on it. We may print something because it's co-branded, a franchisee, a reseller program. They want their brand, not your brand. They might also have apparel or things that need to be co-branded, appropriate. So we kind of become the back office, the branding management, the branding police, if you will. And then we have, on the fulfillment side, we may have shelf items, on-demand items, just anything that we have to create, and we will send it to their locations. We will do all the back-end financial reporting. We'll do all that for them as a turnkey service, so they can go back and do what they started their company and what they love to do. The direct mail we touched on a little bit earlier is creating an experience to get them digital as fast as possible. Actually, the total volume of direct mail in the industry right now is down a little bit, but the value, the type, the high end, the touchy feely, the tactile experience that you're gonna see, the value per unit going in the mail right now has actually increased, especially during COVID, because they want to stand out from the crowd. They just don't want a piece of paper that anybody can do. And then the data management side is really how we use data to drive these variable experiences, these print-on-demand experiences. How do we reach the right customer? How do we help them build their customer profiles?
Outstanding. You've got another slide we're going to put up, and I want you to walk us through that one as well, beginning with the customer challenge.
Okay, thanks. Customer challenge is, I think we need something in a couple of weeks. And that's where we had the it starts on a napkin.
Mm-hmm.
So the Herb Kelleher story.
Sure.
How do we talk to the customer, get the scope of work, build a strategy? We're going to have to implement, it could be digital, it could be print, it could be direct mail, it could be fulfillment, it could be building kits. How is all that going to happen in a couple of weeks? Really, the reason I started the business years ago is I had a customer that says, we want a project manager that can integrate 5 or 10 different technologies, packaging, fulfillment, and still get at it in a couple of weeks, because it wasn't that long ago, that was a couple of month process. Now it has to go from strategy to launch in a matter of weeks, and that's what we do well.
So there's that famous saying, half of my marketing is working, I just don't know which half. So people come to your company really for guidance, because I run into a lot of people in our firm where they're throwing dollars at advertising and they're not sure if it works. And I will often say to them, if you're not sure if it works, why are you doing it?
Exactly.
So tell us what it's like to engage your firm. What does your onboarding process look like? Do you sit down?
Well, the first thing we'd want to do is ask them, what have they done the last couple of years? What ROI do they know, and what part is just the 50%, the abyss that is really hard to identify? Then we're going to look at their data, their customer profiles. Then we're going to look at whether those people tend to engage through tangible print media or not. If they do engage in digital media, then the first thing we want to do on the print side is get them to cross over, to get them, once they're in your CRM and they've opted in and they said, this is, we want to have a conversation, we want to start a business relationship, that's when things start to fall into place. But we have to identify which mediums are working and strategy on the rest.
Yeah, and I find that a lot of people will come to you, and marketing is somewhat planting a seed. You need to let it grow, you need to water it, you need to fertilize it, you need some great sunlight. Some people are like, hey, why is it not growing? Do you run into those clients?
All. I think all, but different mediums have different analytics and different bounce backs and different speed of return of information. Direct mail, we're doing some big projects right now for a company out of North Carolina, and with the window and the response and all that, it might take them 30 or 45 days to get their information. You do something in a digital, you're going to get a much lower response and a much lower engagement, but the information you get is quicker. The secret sauce is taking your digital, your tangible, your retail, and any sort of other tangibles that you have, and merging that data to refine your strategy.
Chris, we're almost out of time, so I want to give you a chance to give some final words of wisdom to the person watching, saying, I don't know if I need a marketing firm. This is a recession, and hopefully we get out on the other side next year.
Sure.
Is this a good time to do marketing?
Yes. There's two pieces to that answer. One is, let's spend a little time and define what you're doing and build an ROI so we know what is working the best for you. And then also, based upon your company, your products, where you're at in your business cycle, what can we do? What makes financial sense? I've got customers right now, they're already planning 2 and 3 quarters ahead. So last week we had some conversations about next summer. Because to build a strategy and implement it, we can move quickly, but the different media players, you have to get, sometimes you got to reserve a spot. You know how that is.
Absolutely. Chris, you've been an amazing guest. We're going to end by putting your website up so people can get in touch. PinnacleGraphics.com is the website. Chris Hill, President. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You bet. And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.